Nisa and Talisa were close sisters, alike in age and temperament, often sharing quick, whispered exchanges that left them both giggling. They were born into the royal household in the stable kingdom of Lani. One day, their uncle Karnas died in a horse-riding accident. So their father, Stefan, was elevated to king, making the girls the most eligible princesses in all the lands. Talisa, the elder, became engaged to the eldest son of the king of Britlin. When she was 16, Talisa, the elder sister, journeyed to the western kingdom of Britlin to be married. She left her home before dawn, the sky just beginning to pale. She crossed forests and mountains. 4 years into the marriage, Talisa brought forth a strong and healthy son, whom they named it Khans, second of his name. And Anisa married a prince from a respected royal family of Lani. Anisa, the younger sister, remained in the kingdom of Lani. In the same year Talisa gave birth. Anisa also gave birth to a baby boy named Armand. The sisters realized how much they missed each other. So they prevailed on their father, King Stefan, to let the boys be educated. Together, they would stay for 6 months in the kingdom of Lani and 6 months in the kingdom of Britlin to the west. They hired the renowned teacher Aslit to tutor them.
Their studies were strenuous, as I had to prepare them to rule from an early age. Both favored my teachings. They had heard I was rumored to be a Shrishpul-descended genius. It was true. The Shrishpul part and the genius part. Before it was destroyed, Shrishpul was paradise itself.
The kings were enlightened. The people were educated and shared in the rights and wealth of the nation. All had more than enough to eat, drink, play, and be happy. So great were the people and philosophy that we wanted others to enjoy it. But jealous neighboring kingdoms, led by Zia, attacked us because their kings felt threatened. But when they destroyed the Shrishpul kingdom, we blew in the wind everywhere like seeds.
I taught the boys to question the norms of their day. I hoped that they would then deduce the benefits of democracy on their own. They did exactly that. I told parables of fish, animals, insects, the stars, and gods. Many of the lessons had answers having to do with consent of the governed and symbiotic relations. Even the massively powerful whale had a symbiotic relationship with the tiny fish that cleaned their teeth. When the boys played at war, they often secretly would pretend they were Shrishpul. I scolded them for doing so, and they were hurt. I smiled and told them, yes, defend democracy, but do so secretly. They told me they exchanged a sacred vow in their secret fort hideaway, that they would rule differently. They would combine their two kingdoms into one great democracy. Who would believe that a little more than 14 years later, my boys would do exactly that?
When Khans was 12 years old, his father, Prince Moab, died suddenly of a harsh winter's flu. This unexpectedly placed Khans as the next king in succession, should old King Chanis die. Both Khans and his cousin Armand would now be required to stay in their respective kingdoms, away from each other, in case the need arose for either to become the next sovereign. 3 years later, this happened to Armand, whose grandfather, King Stefan, died of old age. When Anisa and Talisa's father, King Stefan, died, Armand became king at only 15 years of age.
Upon the passing of my father, King Stefan, The principal advisors and generals counseled Armand.
Less.
That I, his mother, shall rule as regent, guiding my son, until he is of age. There were occasions when I would take on the affairs of state by myself, without my son. This seemed to happen more often the closer he came to his 18th birthday. When that day came and passed, I was still in charge.
Armand noticed the growing ambition of his mother and how his coronation never seemed to get on the schedule.
I love my mother, but I trust my generals will see me as weak if I can't take the crown and place it on my own head. From my mother's hands. So I secretly met with General Cassirus, who led our army. I asked him plainly what his understanding of my mother's regency was, and when it ended. The response, let me know. I had the general's support to claim the throne.
Upon your 18th birthday.
Regardless of my mother's reluctance to step down. I had one last conversation with my mother before I decided to seize my own throne. Mother, I would like to set a date this spring for my coronation.
Armand, you are still too immature, and the generals don't trust you yet. You will have to wait a little longer. I decided I enjoy being queen, and I am much more qualified than my son to rule. I just can't figure how to remain queen, demote Armand, and not anger the generals or the people. I will have to give that some thought over this nice holiday in the country. Well, I have to pack.
The next weekend, the royal family was to relax at the summer castle. As his mother packed, Armand had several meetings. He met with General Cassirus again and had the general attend his meeting with the captain of the horse and the royal messenger. The captain of the horse was directed that after delivering the Queen Regent to the summer castle, to quietly withdraw and return. The royal messenger was informed that the coronation would occur that weekend, and given the list of attendees, not one ally of the Queen was sent an early invitation. General Cassirus sent a unit to see that no visitors came or went to the summer castle. On the appointed day that weekend, word went forth in the streets of the coronation, and that commoners were allowed to attend. This was a first, and while the royals, wealthy and merchant classes, had the best view, many commoners were first-hand witnesses of the coronation of King Armand of Lani, first of his name. Armand had his favorite aunt sit near him and place the crown atop his head. Most assumed she was the Queen Regent stepping down. It was a moment of perfect political theatre. And a moment later, a new king arose. King Armand was to rule for more than 50 years, first in the Kingdom of Lani, and then in the combined democratic Kingdom of Brittany, with the help of the Council of Kings.
A week later, as the irritated Queen Mother Anissa boarded the carriage, she knew something was wrong. The carriage had no flags, no sigil, and no real palace guards. She sensed that she was no longer regent. In the carriage, she prepared herself in case she was about to be jailed, put on trial, demoted, or just scolded.
You had no right to do that! Put me out of the way and take it for yourself! You are not ready, too immature, and this proves it!
That's precisely what's at issue. I did have the right, by birth, by decree, and by law on my 18th birthday. I was mature enough to seize the initiative, secure the military, and isolate you. And so I could have. The coronation I was due.
I won't allow it. You've had your fun. Now, I'll allow you to pass some decrees. And then I will see how you do with those first.
That ship has sailed, Mother. I will not see you for 2 months. You will pack what you need and return to the summer castle.
When you return, if you are in the spirit of counseling a young king,
Then you will be welcomed back.
Your tarnished reputation restored, for having overstayed your welcome at the party too long.
If you return with fiery rhetoric, hidden agendas, and sniping, then you will retire to the Summer Castle, where I will certainly miss you.
It was wrong to treat your mother this way, to humiliate me instead of thanking me.
When Queen Mother Anissa returned months later, she was the model of a Queen Mother, dignified, if not cold.
She belied no outward appearance of harboring some deep grudge.
"3 years passed, and King Armand proved to be a very capable ruler, dispensing justice fairly and creatively. He put aside extra grain for lean harvests and for feeding the poor. He made sure the land was safe from foreign invasions. He also started implementing small democratic reforms, such as requiring the table of princes be elected from other princes and having an election of the wisest elders and commoners to help write a common code of justice. He also discovered he had a talent for discovering palace intrigue. He snuffed out one such plot by simply approaching the court plotter. The king dismissed the guards, winked at the plotter, and uttered one word: behave. That was enough to end most palace intrigue peacefully. Armand was finishing his 4th year ruling successfully, but Khans was just coming to power in neighboring Britland.